Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from Rust Paper Scissors, and I'm here today to participate in the hashtag ABC April 2025 challenge. Today the letter is V. I chose to demonstrate how I use velvet, and I'm mainly talking about the sticky backed velvet. I like to use it to cover journals, make mini journals, make tags, used it as a tab. There's just several different ways you can use it, but this is what it looks like. It's a sheet of velvet that's sticky backed, and it's approximately 11.5 by 8. And I just wanted to show you some of the other colors that I have. I have a green, a dark green, a dark red, an orange, and purple. I also have beige and blue, but I couldn't find whole sheets of those to show you. But I really love using this, and we will demonstrate some of the things that I do, but this is just an example of the velvet ribbon, and I love to use this to make a closure for a journal, like a mini journal. I will use the sticky back ribbon. No, it's not sticky back, it's just ribbon to make a journal closure. And then I also like to use it to make bookmarks, and then I just add a charm onto the bottom. So that's easy to do. And then I also like to use it to strengthen the edge of a page, and I'll show you that in just a second. But let me show you some of this is an example of a journal that I made out of a file folder. And I've covered it with a sticky backed velvet inside and out. And I just love to use it, and I will demonstrate on the smaller one, but it goes very fast. I also like to use them on repurposed books. This is a Reader's Digest condensed book, and I'll cover it with the velvet, and then I also cover it on the inside, and makes a beautiful quick cover. And then I also like to use it, I try to make things cohesive. Like when I talk about using rust, I like to use rust throughout my junk journals. It just keeps everything the same. The same with the velvet. I like to use the velvet in different ways and in different areas of my junk journals just to make it cohesive. This is the center of a signature, and I cover the envelope with the sticky backed velvet. And then here's the other one. And then I like to use it on the edge of a page where you strengthen the edge of maybe more fragile paper. And then that's a pull out, so I like to have a little something on there. And then I also like to use them as tabs. This one has an eyelet and a little dangle with it. This is just an example of a tag that I made. And then these are just some other tags that I made out of, leftover material from making the journals. So that's just what I wanted to show you on that. And then these are the tabs that I cut out and add to a page or a tag. And then I also wanted to talk about, you can cut it by hand, but you can also cut it with a Cricut machine. So this is just what it would look like, the sticky back velvet on the Cricut mat. And then the magic of videoing, this is just some of the cutouts that I made. And I just use these. I had this file already made up, so that's why it's Halloween. But it just wants to demonstrate how easy it is to cut, and then it comes just right off the tag, and you have a beautiful little black cat. You have a witch and a broom. Let's see if I can get her up. Yeah. There we go. So, and I'll put these on a tag and show you what they look like. The little witch's hat and then the bats. So that's, again, a fun way to use them. But what I wanted to do today was to make a mini junk journal using the black velvet. I use a black file folder. And what I've learned about file folders is they're not straight. So what I do is, we'll get ready. We're going to make this size of a little mini junk journal. And what I do is I take the file folder and I will put it into the cutter, and then I just cut a straight edge. And then I also cut the other edge. And then that just gives you a, straight edge to start with. And then these are approximately 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 3/4. Okay. And then one of the nice things about file folders that I like is they have these already, what is that term? Scored. They have these lines already scored, so it's 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and you could score it again if you wanted to make your spine an inch. But what I do is I take this first fold and I put it in here, and I put it at the 3 1/2 mark. So this side of the cover is going to be 3 1/2. Okay, and then now I'm going to make this a 1/2 inch spine. So I'm going to crease it on the second crease, and that's going to make a 1/2 inch spine. I'll show you here. Okay, that's a 1/2 inch spine. Now, I want to cut from this score line, this or where we folded it, this fold, this other fold. I'm going to measure it from this fold line, so this cover will be 3 1/2. So I'm going to put it at the 3 1/2 mark, and there we have it. Now you have a journal that's going to meet up with a 1/2 inch spine. Very easy. Then what I do is I take my sticky backed velvet and I open it up just a little bit of a ways. It's very forgiving. You can a lot of times reposition it if you need to it. The other thing I do is I make my folds, I fold them several times just to make sure that they're, well folded. And then all I do is I'm going to place this down. I'm going to turn it so I can see it better. But I'm going to try and get it close to the edge. I'm going to try and get it straight. And then you just, peel it down and stick it on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little cutting mat, and I'm going to take my finger cutter, and I'm just going to cut along the edge of this file folder. And see how easy it cuts? Oh my goodness, it really is fun to work with. And then I'm just going to trim up these sides. And again, I don't go to the edge there because it's just easier for me to do it this way. And then I cut down and then I turn it, and then I'll cut this last part off. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just go down and cut. And tear this edge off. Cut that edge off. Okay. And then we do the top. The type of binding that I do in this journal is with metal prong fasteners, and I attach it at the back, and then it opens. Let's see. Oh no, let's open this one. Then you have your pages held in with the metal prong fastener. So that's how I do it. If you wanted to do a sewn in signature and you wanted it to be a hidden, you know, the signature, those, what am I trying to say? Your thread hidden, then what you could do is attach your signatures here, attach them in, and then make the cover. But for me, it's easier to do the cover just the next thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear it down a little bit, you know, peel it down a little bit more. And then I'm going to straighten this up. This didn't get quite exactly as perfect as I want it. So I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, that looks better. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to just line it up, if you can see that. And then we just peel it back. And I'm going to just cut this. And now we'll cut the other edge of it. I'm sorry, I'm making it harder than it is. And then you just have a little piece left that you can use for something else. And now I'm going to trim the sides. Okay. Now I'm just going to trim that edge, and we're done. Okay, so that is our folder, and then I just fold it, you know, where it's going to be. Now we have our closure. Then these are the pages that I wanted to use. This is some paper from a mini composition book, and I just tea-dye them, and then I'm just gonna line it up. Oh, I need to go get I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to get some clamps, and all I do is I just line up my papers, and then I'm gonna put it into my spine where I want it. I want to center it, and then I'm just going to put my clamps on there. And then I take my metal prong fastener and a pencil, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center here. And then we're going to take our crocodile. And I'm just going to cut this out. So I just go right there, and I'm just going to cut it. Okay. And then I'm going to go on this end. We're just going to go down here and cut it. Then I take the these, and I'm just going to add them to the journal, and then I'm going to put the compressor on there. You can take these off. And then you just compress it down. Okay, so now you have your book, your journal. I'm going to round the corners. I like the corners rounded, and I have a corner rounder here somewhere. Okay, found my corner rounder. I'm just going to do the 1/2 inch, and I just slip it in there, and you cut it. It doesn't always cut all the way through, so I'll go back and fix that. This is, I just like it finished off like this. Okay. And then all I do is take my scissors and I just cut around there and make it a rounded edge. Okay, and then this one. Okay. And all right. So now you have your little booklet. And then I like to use, on these booklets, I like to use the D-ring fasteners. So I know I brought some in here, but I won't be able to find them. Okay, these are the D-ring fasteners that I'm going to use as the closure. What I do is I insert my little knife in there and I spread it open, and then that allows me to be able to fit it onto the journal. And then now you could measure this if you want it. I'm just going to eyeball it and try and get it there in the center. And then I use my little craft knife to make a hole. And then I use a brad. Yep, let's see if we can get that hole a little bit bigger. Okay. And then I just close it and I line it up on the back. I'm just lining it up. And then once again, we're going to use our little craft knife. Make a good hole. Oops, I'm doing it on the wrong side. And I usually do it on the back side, so the brad is on the inside. And then I just clip it. That is your closure. This is bugging me. This isn't straight. There we go. Now, this is your closure, and then all I'm going to do is take a piece of the velvet ribbon, and we'll just cut it off, and then you can put it through the D-rings. And then you just tie it. I'm just going to tie it like this. There you have a little mini journal. Let's say you had maybe a Paris themed journal. You could add that as a topper. This one was just a Thanksgiving topper. This one was a Christmas topping with a little journal book plate on there. So now you have a little journal, a mini journal. Slip in your purse, add it to a journal, to go with the journal, or as Happy Mail. And then I wanted to demonstrate just a couple of things. I'm going to take one of these little witch's hats, and I'll take the little witch, and then do I have the little cat? I guess we'll take this one. Okay. And then I'm just going to demonstrate, oh, there it is. Okay, just demonstrate maybe these on a tag. All you do is you just peel off the backing. And then you situate it kind of where you want it on your tag. And I'm going to have to move it over. So that's, and now you have a little tag. The cat will probably be easier. Let's see, let's just use a piece of this index card that has graphed paper on it. And again, I'm just taking the backing off. And I'm clearing out the little eyes there where it cuts. And then you just maybe put it up here at the top. And there you have a little black cat tag. And then the witch, let's see, let's put her on a guest check. And then all you do is, I'm just going to see what kind of where I need to place her. And you can make her flying more. Let's do that. And then all I'm going to do is just peel off the backing and stick it down as best I can. So she's flying. It is forgiving. You can lift it back up and reposition it. And there we have a little witch tag. So that's just some ideas that I like to use. And then, oh, let me show you one more. This is the whale tail punch. And then you just, what I do is I peel it halfway, and then I align it to where this little part that sticks out matches the edge of my tag. And then I just press that down. Then I take the rest of the backing off and I just fold it down and make it meet up. And there you have a little tab on the edge of your tag. So I hope you'll give the Sticky Back Velvet a try. I buy it on Amazon. I believe it's called Benicraft adhesive backed velvet or sticky backed velvet. And I'd love to see if you use it, the projects that you make. I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much.